Hello again. Have you ever heard of challenge running? It's when someone adds extra rules to a game, like limiting themselves to only being level 1, or not getting hit, or only being able to use one weapon type. They've always looked interesting to watch, so I decided to try one out. And since it's my first time doing this, I didn't want to do anything too difficult, so let's see. Will I be able to beat Dark Souls 3 with only pyromancies? Let's find out. My friend told me I need some kind of little character for my videos, and I do agree, so I made this. Wonderful, isn't he? I'm gonna try and use him in sections where there isn't a whole lot to show, so we may not see much of him, but I hope you guys like it. I think he's magnificent. The rules of this run are pretty simple. Since we're doing a Pyromancy Only Run, it means our only source of damage can come from pyromancy spells and nothing else. No weapons, no consumables, and no weapon skills. So we're pretty limited, but with 27 different pyromancy spells in the base game, I don't think we'll have too much trouble finding something we can use. Starting the game, we choose the Pyromancer for our class to get the Pyromancy Flame and our first spell, Fireball. We also get the Great Swamp Ring, so we're starting out with a boost to our damage. Finalizing our character, we head straight for the first boss. The first thing we're testing our firepower on is Udix Gundyr. He isn't particularly weak to fire, but let's see how our spells fare against him. 108 a hit, not bad. Skipping ahead to the second phase, he got a bit of armor as this goo snake came out of him, causing our damage to drop for a moment. But seems even the Pus of Man couldn't save him, as fireball after fireball, we bring Udix down. Opening the way forward, we make our way into the next destination, the High Wall of Lothric. Where the very first thing I do is run past everything to find and kill a Mimic. Now, did I need to kill a Mimic? No. Did it have an item I needed? No. But for some reason, I guess it was important enough to waste my Hidden Miracle on. That's what I took as my burial gift, by the way. It was supposed to restore mana, but no. I used it to kill this Mimic, which I knew had an axe as well, which I can't use during this run. I honestly have no clue why I ran here and killed it, but it's dead now. I don't know. It's dead. Moving on to something more productive, we make our way through the area, collecting an Estus shard, speaking to Emma to get the small Lothric banner, and then coming on to the next boss, Vort, of the Boreal Valley. He doesn't look too bad. I bet we'll get another first try. Well, not the result I was hoping for, but let's try again. I'm sure I'll get it on the next one. Next one? Okay. Well, our damage isn't bad. It's not like he's moving fast enough for me to not be able to dodge, how silly of me. I didn't realize. I forgot to lock in. Silly me. Not the most impressive fight, but we did it. I really couldn't tell you why it took me, I think it was 6 tries to beat him, but all in all, he's dead. So let's carry on. Exiting Vort's boss room, we reach a cliff, and raising the small Lothric banner, it's supposed to signal something or someone to take us down below. Let's see. What are these things? Despite their appearance, they were kind enough to bring us to our next destination, the Undead Settlement. We've got some things to collect here and someone to meet, so let's get to it. Heading into the settlement, I get the feeling the locals don't like us hanging around, but a well-placed fireball should be enough to convince them to leave me be. Might take more than one fireball, though. We find another Estus shard amongst a group praying by a burning tree, and the person I wanted to meet should be somewhere around here. Traveling a bit further into the settlement, we find where we want to be, and fighting through these undead, we find the person we're looking for.
Welcome to my abode. I am Cornix, an old pyromancer.
Meeting the old pyromancer, he sees we're already dabbling in the arts, and offers us the chance to learn from him. It's an offer we take up enthusiastically, and with a puff of smoke, he heads back to Firelink Shrine. Following him back, the spells Cornix has ready for us are Fire Surge, Great Combustion, and Flash Sweat. None that I'm really interested in, and if we want more spells, we need to find Pyromancy tomes to access them, though I haven't come across any yet. Along with the spells, Cornix also gives us the option to upgrade our casting tool, the Pyromancers Flame, so that it'll do more damage. For now, we're going to be able to get it to +1, and then we're off to adventure some more. Just past the Undead Settlement is our next stop, the Road of Sacrifices. We have a few things to get here. The first is the Grass Crest Shield, as although I'm not allowed to do damage with anything except pyromancies, I'm not going to limit myself from items that can buff us, and this shield gives us a boost to our stamina regen. Next we find a Sage Ring, which reduces casting time of spells, and then we get the Great Swamp Pyromancy Tome, which unlocks a few spells when we return to Cornix. Seeing what the tome gets us, it unlocks 3 more Pyromancies: Fire Orb, Bursting Fireball, and Poison Mist. We pick up Fire Orb and then head back out to the Undead Settlement, as I had forgotten to collect some things there earlier. First, we grab the Fire Clutch Ring. It'll increase our fire damage at the expense of our defense. Then, an Undead Bone Shard. It's on its own little island here, so no wonder I went past it. And then finally, we might as well get the Transposing Kiln since we're here. This giant tree in the back is the boss, the Cursed Rotted Greatwood. Our attacks otherwise don't do any damage to them, so we have to aim for his weak points. We break the one on its leg, then the large one on its abdomen, and then we find another one on its hand. In response to us doing this thing breaks open the floor, dropping us down to the second phase. Where he pulls out another arm, and with one last weak point destroyed, we turn this great wood into kindling. Oh, actually I missed, hold on. Now we turn into kindling. And with the Great Wood dead, we get the Transposing Kiln, which later on will allow us to get 2 more Pyromancies, if we so need them. With everything taken care of, we head into Farron Keep, as the next boss I plan on fighting is the Abyss Watchers. Throughout the Poisonous Swamp, there are a few fires we have to extinguish. They aren't particularly hidden or hard to find, so we just go around snuffing them out. Then we go back to collecting things, such as an Estus Shard, a new Pyromancy spell called Iron Flesh, and get an Undead Bone Shard. Approaching the Abyss Watchers, I was able to faintly hear the sounds of swords clashing, and upon entering the arena, we see why. Littered around the place are the bodies of other Abyss Watchers, and these last 2 are locked in battle. Observing their duel, it looks like they're just finishing up, leaving only one left for us to take care of. I left this cutscene almost entirely intact because they just got too much aura. This boss is just too cool for me to beat. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. Phase 1 actually goes pretty well. We were able to throw out our attacks and keep our distance, and even when the other Abyss Watcher got up, they ignored me almost entirely in favor of fighting the red-eyed one. With enough fire orbs, we were able to get him down, and this was where the fight turns out of our favor. Phase 2, After the Abyss Watcher absorbs the... I think he's like absorbing the power of the others or something to Ember up. He then starts getting faster and closing the distance on us, and he just dodges all of my attacks, and man, I wasn't able to hit anything before dying. He just kept doing these stupid rolls, and I'm the only one who's allowed to dodge roll, not him. He needs to go back to walking at me menacingly, but that's the end of our first attempt. It's just pathetic. I gotta say, it was pathetic. Second attempt didn't go so hot either. I just like the start at the beginning where he just straight up stomps me into the ground with with this jumping attack. After that, each subsequent attempt had no luck. I was making it to the second phase pretty consistently, but at that point I was just floundering. Got to a point where it's just like, I'm just gonna take a break for a minute. I'm gonna do something else, try and upgrade my Pyromancers Flame or something. And upgrade it I did. Well, away from the Abyss Watchers, I thinked and I thunked and I thought of how to beat them. And you know what I came up with? Nothing. I gave up. I'm not the kind of player to strategize, so I'm going into that arena with enough equip load to light roll, and I'm just going to bash my head against the wall till we win. And if that doesn't work, I'll come up with something. But let's see the second phase with this. I said let's see the second phase. We don't gotta show me getting stomped by this guy in the first phase, so let's skip ahead. I really just do pick the worst times to attack. If I just learned attack patterns, this would be so much easier, because I could find a safe place to actually hit them, but no. Not like it really matters, because as long as in the end we win, we don't have to learn their attack patterns anymore because they're dead. So, all in all, it's a win-win either way. So, you know, I win. Moving on from the Abyss Watchers, we make our way into the Catacombs of Karthus. We actually have another Pyromancy tome to get, though I end up going right past it. It would have given us Acid Surge, Karthus Beacon, and Karthus Flame Arc, which aren't too useful to me, but I do end up getting it later, so don't worry. But for now, let's continue on. We find another undead bone shard after a ball of skeletons collapses against some iron bars. Then we find a bridge, though the destination I'm looking for isn't across, it's down. Breaking the bridge leads us into the smoldering lake, and here we have quite a few useful items to get. The first is the Witch's Ring, which boosts the damage of our pyromancies, and it stacks with our other great Swamp Ring. Another is an undead bone shard from this large worm who is so kind as to stand right in front of these ballista arrows trying to kill me. And the last, but certainly not least, is the Izalith Pyromancy Tome, giving us two spells, Great Chaos Storm, and the one I'm after, Great Chaos Fire Orb. This Fire Orb is going to be our main boss weapon from here on out, and is really also the only reason I came down to the Smoldering Lake, but, you know. Witch's Ring is also nice too. Let's test out the Chaos Fire Orb on the next boss, Wolnir. I think he's trapped in this chalice, but living in a cup is no escape from me. Now let's get to breaking some enchanted bracelets. His hand on the first one, but first bracelet broken in 3 hits. second bracelet broken without me even landing a proper shot on it. I outright missed that. And the final bracelet broken in 2 hits. Nicely done. With Wilnir dead, we can move on to the next area, Irithyll of the Boreal Valley, where we are immediately attacked by a dog trying to cross a bridge. Bad dog, bad. Go to your room. Past this mischievous pup, we find we can't enter Irithyll yet, as the barrier requires us to have a doll in our possession to be let through. But where are we supposed to find one? Well, we haven't tried going to the Cathedral of the Deep yet, so I guess it should be there. Backtracking to our closest bonfire in the Road of Sacrifices, we head towards the cathedral, come across the Crystal Sage in the process. I forgot there was a boss here, so I was very surprised when he popped up, and although I didn't get him on my first try, he didn't give me a whole lot of trouble. Man, it's only death, you don't gotta be so dramatic about it. Arriving at the cathedral, we find another Estus shard. In trying to make our way through, we collect the Saint Tree Bellvine. It's supposed to increase our casting speed, so I'll keep hold of it. It might be useful in the future. Heading inside, we finally reach the deacons, and would you look at that? Ganging up on little old me. Well, I'll tell you now, they are no match for the powers of pyromancy. This fight was pretty easy. It was another one that took me 2 tries, even though it should have taken me 1, but that's because I wasn't paying attention. During the phase transition, all the deacons just backed away, and I had no clue what was happening before I got hit by a big ball of curse. On my second go-around, what was actually going on was they were trying to group around the Pope that spawns during the second phase, so as a reward for paying attention and killing them before they killed me, we got a small doll. Back in Irithyll, we used the doll to get past the barrier. Though what I'm looking for isn't in Irithyll, it's below it. Down in the dungeons is another person I'm looking for, though I don't actually know where they are. Looking around the place, we find an Estus shard, another ring that might be useful soon, a set of keys, and a pyromancy spell called the Profaned Flame, all before coming across them. The person I'm looking for is Carla, a child of the Abyss. We used that set of keys we found to open her cell and begin talking to her.
Oh, there you are.
Hello! At first mistaking us for one of her jailers, she apologizes and asks us what business we have with her, warning us that in this land of monstrosities, she is no exception. I must say her reasoning is without flaw, though we're here to offer help.
You're here to save me, but I'm guilty. A wretched child of the Abyss.
And lady, we're a walking corpse brought back to life to light things on fire. I'm sure I can look past your abyssal ways. We confirm our want to help, and with that, she heads back to Firelink. Heading back to Firelink Shrine, something I had forgotten about getting was the Grave Warden's Pyromancy Tome. It was in Wolnir's boss arena, and I don't know what spells it contains, but they're supposed to be pyromancies, so let's find out. Trying to give it to Cornix, he tells us he can't accept it.
This pyromancy tome is dark and delves into the depths of men where an untouchable flame resides. I cannot comprehend this myself, let alone teach it to you. It is a spell forbidden in the Great Swamp, and nearly everywhere else too. Only one terribly afflicted or burdened by deep sorrow could begin to understand this.
We need someone afflicted with sorrow, huh? I mean, Carla looks pretty sorrowful. We did just take her out of a dungeon. Giving her the tome, she is able to accept it, so we're in luck. This tome gives us access to 2 more pyromancies, Black Flame and Black Fire Orb, which, rather than dealing fire damage like every other offensive spell we've gotten so far, these do dark damage, which we'll be needing soon enough as the next boss is Yorm. Our pyromancies have been strong up until this point, but now they're almost all but useless. The next Lord of Cinder is a difficult one. The biggest roadblock of this challenge is Yorm the Giant, who is immune to our fire damage. Lucky us for getting those dark pyromancy spells then. Running up to him, we got our first look at how things were going to be. The first attempt took a while, and we really didn't make it that far. I didn't expect to win, but man, I thought we'd be doing more than like, what is that, 1/12 of his health bar? Each attempt was just more of the same. I learned at some point that aiming for the head and the arms would do more damage, so I tried my best to aim for those weak points, but it just wasn't enough. I tried leveling a bit more, but really, it was just to no avail. I can't recall how many attempts I made, but in time I just got tired of looking at Yorm. Lacking the firepower, I didn't want to spend all my time leveling intelligence and faith just to power through his defense, so instead I decided to leave him be, as there's another boss that we can try doing for the time being. So, switching gears, I head back to the High Wall of Lothric, where another boss hides. The Dancer, who, my god, is a breath of fresh air after dealing with Yorm for so many hours. While still being in almost one-shot range to their damage, it feels so nice to see a chunk of their health missing with each attack. She hid behind this pillar for like a straight minute, so I had to skip past it. Transitioning into Phase 2, I spent most of the fight running away from her. When we finally land the killing blow, the Dancer gives us a basin, which opens the way into Lothric Castle, where we're gonna go around and collect things again. I think this cutscene's a bit silly. I cut out part of it, but it's just so that a ladder will drop down. I don't know why they had to move a statue out of the way for it. Going about, we collect an Estus shard and any Titanite we can find, making our way all the way through and up to the Dragon Slayer's armor. Though, I'm not gonna fight this boss yet. I'm only here to open up the shortcut for later. And now, it's back to Yorm. We get our Pyromancy Flame up to +8, and we do have a few more levels under our belt, so hopefully things go a lot better. Finally strategizing, our damage is definitely better aiming for his head and getting critical hits. We even stagger him before getting into the second phase, though we aren't there yet. During Phase 2, his movements are faster, and he's, closing the distance much more aggressively. At a loss for how to proceed, I thought, what was a common theme for all my attempts? What issue was most prevalent? And would you guess it? Being killed by his attacks in pretty much one hit wasn't ideal for success. And while I can't get rid of the Dark Clutch Ring, as I need it for the damage, we can level our health. Much better. Now let's see how this does against Yorm. I'm going to show the whole Yorm fight, but I'm going to be doing it at 300% speed, so hopefully that's quick enough. And that was still pretty slow. And with that, Yorm is defeated by 8 points into Vigor. That's all it took to fell the second Lord of Cinder. I was stuck on Yorm for a few days, and when he died, I didn't feel relief. I was afraid of what was to come next. Would the next boss I faced be even harder? Would the challenge they brought be too much for me to handle? Making my way back to the Boreal Valley, it's gonna be up to the Pontiff to gauge my fear. But first we have to get to him. Heading through Irithyll, we made it to the Pontiff's door, and opened up a shortcut before proceeding to challenge him. I know I'm probably gonna need it on my run back. And now, it's time to face my fears and fight the Pontiff. And yeah, I was worried for nothing. The Pontiff went down with almost no fuss. The clones he summons would get one-shot by the Chaos Fire Orbs, and I was able to keep my distance from him. So, although he was able to get a few good hits in, he was really no match for the destructive force I had become. Let's hope the rest of the challenge run is like this. Moving through the rest of the city, we climb to the rooftops, and I come to a cliff. And I was sure that this was the right way to go. I thought maybe I was missing something, or like I forgot to kill a boss, but I just didn't know that the lever to this tower elevator thing was mere inches away from me. I even almost looked at it, but I just kept on running back to try and find what I was missing. Finding that this was the only way to go, I returned back and... I mean, come on, look at this. I'm looking up a guide right now, so this is why I'm just standing still, but like, you can see the lever right there. It took me more than 10 minutes to figure out how to get up this thing, which, you know, man. But with the tower now ascended, we enter Enor Londo, where the next Lord of Cinder presides. Aldrich, Devourer of Gods. In this boss, me and him got something in common. I, too, am a sludge monster, and I know, my possum-like appearance online doesn't show it, but this is me IRL. For real, for real. Back to fighting Aldrich, I was a bit worried when he broke this pillar with his magic, and this shower of projectiles is no good for casting our spells, but with a few good hits, my confidence returned to me. The rest of the fight is a bit more of the same. Now he's raining down arrows on us, and he has his life on Scythe, so that is something to look out for, but all in all, we were able to get through this on our first try. And there we have it. We've hit our mark before they could hit theirs. One last Lord of Cinder to go.
Unkindled one. The fire fades and awaits its one last lord. Prince Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul.
I ain't saving no one, I'm sorry. After the cutscene finishes, we're teleported to Lothric Castle, which thanks to our efforts when avoiding Yorm, gives us a way to beeline to our next boss, the Dragon Slayer's Armor. He's the first boss who came prepared to deal with our projectiles. That shield is gonna be a nuisance, I'll tell you now. We're able to get him into what looks like his second phase pretty quickly. But that charge slash he does, I am never ready for it. I see it coming, but I just don't react. I'm like a deer in headlights, it seems. At this point, I had been using Great Chaos Fire Orb a lot, and I wanted to see what the other pyromancies had to offer. So being stuck on this boss didn't feel as taxing as being stuck on like Yorm was. I tried Black Flame and Great Combustion, which weren't bad. Then I tried Chaos Storm, which went as expected, but it popped a thought into my head. Is anyone actually in the Dragon Slayer armor? This thought put me on a bit of a tangent, and I ended up reading some of the wikis, and the armor is autonomous, and it's controlled by the butterflies, which are these scary looking things, but it doesn't say if the armor's empty or not. Like, could I climb inside of it and just have the armor rip itself apart, theoretically? Like, I don't see anything wrong with it, because if it's a Pyromancy Only Run, I'm not the one damaging it. It's damaging itself. So I think it would count. I think it would be legit. But joking aside, like almost every other boss so far, the Dragon Slayer armor is lit ablaze by the Great Chaos Fire Orb. And making our way through the Grand Archives, we pick up anything of interest before we make it to the Prince's door. Walking up this red-carpeted stairway, we see the silhouette of Prince Lothric, the second-to-last boss, and as we enter their room, a cutscene begins to play.
Oh dear. Another dogged contender. Welcome, unkindled one, purloiner of cinders. Mind you, the mantle of Lord interests me none. The fire-linking curse, the legacy of lords, let it all fade into nothing. You've done quite enough. Now have your rest.
The first phase has us fighting the Elder Prince, Lorien. And I'll be honest, I sucked at this fight so badly to a point where I was about to give up the challenge. I tried so many things to get me through this fight. I unequipped the Flame Clutch Ring, I tried out different spells, allocating more healing Estus rather than mana Estus, found a Titanite Slab to get our Pyromancy Flame up to +10, I tried equipping armor, leveling up dexterity for faster spellcasting. I even went and killed the old Demon King to transpose his soul into the Chaos Bed Vestiges spell to see if maybe trying a different spell would help, but no. Nothing was working. It took me so long that I just stopped recording attempts. I put the game down for a bit, and after taking a break, I tried fighting the princes again. And I don't know what I did right, but I was handed a boon by the game, and the boss was put on easy mode, so down goes Phase 1 Lorien as he's lore walking at me. Then, we carefully make our way through the second phase, bringing Lorien down, and then getting some nice damage onto Prince Lothric. Then again, though I almost mess up here, as the lock-on wasn't working, but we did it. Another roadblock down. Although I skipped past a lot of me fighting him, it was a slog, I'll tell you that much.
Among the accursed.
Yeah, we remain among the accursed. I'm almost done here, don't worry. Heading back to the Firelink Shrine, it's time to place these lords on their thrones. We first place Aldrich, the easiest of the Lord of Cinders. Then, Yorm the Giant, the boss that took me the most time to beat. Now, the Abyss Watchers, my favorite boss and the first roadblock on this run. And finally, Prince Lothric, the most difficult boss in our path. With all the lords sat on their thrones, it's time to kneel by the fire and bring ourselves before the final boss, the Soul of Cinders.
Noble lords of Cinder, the fire fades. And the lords go without thrones. Surrender your fires to the true heir. Let him grant death. To the old gods of Lordran, deliverers of the first flame.
Time to face the Soul of Cinder. We had trouble with almost every single lord on our journey, so let's see how we fare against the final boss. We're heading into the second phase, and things look like they're going decently. Let's hope it stays that way. I didn't show the first try, but this is the attack that got me. I didn't expect all these lightning bolts to just start following me. So all in all, we win. And to end this run, we link the first flame. I hope you enjoyed this video. For my first challenge run, I had a lot of fun. Yorm and the Princes took forever for me to get through, but it wouldn't have been a challenge run if there wasn't a challenge in it, you know? I'd definitely try and do this again, but I think for my next video, I'm gonna go back to playing a game normally. And if you could still hear this and you're still watching, let me know what you think. Should I have done something differently? Please, let me know.